What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Football Game Show presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always, as sometimes by my co-host, G-Man Jay. What's up, Jay?
As sometimes, but you know what? It's always a good time.
Always a good time. I see you wearing your
really cheesy and
your New York Yankees jersey in honor of the MLB trying to rig the series for them, right?
Oh, okay. It's always a conspiracy theory with the Yankees. I was waiting for that.
I don't even know shit about baseball. I just saw people tweeting about how they were rigging the series by delaying that game.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not a joint decision by both teams and Major League Baseball, but the fix is in.
For my deep understanding of baseball, which I followed all year, and by this I mean I read one person's angry tweet. The Guardians really had the advantage when it was a bullpen game, and the Yankees now are going to be able to go back to a better pitcher, right, Jay?
Yeah, name one player on the Guardians.
Mr. Guardian.
Right. That's wrong. Sorry.
Mrs. Guardian. Sorry, that was wrong.
That's it. Correct. So
okay,
so
thank you. No, I haven't watched a single second of baseball this year, except by accident. Like whenever I turn on the ESPN app and accidentally click on baseball instead of like an interesting sport like tennis or cricket.
You just throw it and like scream. It's go and then
it's immediately like baseball, and I try to get it off my screen really quick. Guys, also joining us today, we've got our great friend Jon Jeune on the show with us. He is a host and producer over at the Fantasy Football Diagnostics podcast and a contributor for the Jet Press, a fan-sided site. Jon, thank you so much for coming back on with us today, my man.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I was getting a little nervous. I thought I showed up to the wrong podcast when you guys were doing all that baseball talk. What is this stuff here? But, it's always fun to be on with you guys. And first time on with Jay, who always is the one that's getting me on here. So it's always nice to finally get to interact with him on this show, even if if it involves me potentially beating him in a game.
That makes it even more fun. Guys, joining us as well. Dane, can you hear us?
I sure can. Can you hear me?
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
Let's go.
Guys, joining us as well today, we've got Dane Speeds joining the show, the spitting statistician, as it says right below his face on the screen. Dane is a host and analyst over at the Action Network and a 3 times best radio finalist. Dane, thanks so much for joining us today, my man.
Thank you. Finalist, but never won. You know what I mean? So thanks for bringing it up.
That's my job. I like to remind all of our guests of their disappointing endeavors right at the beginning of the show.
That's what Simon's known for.
We have Coop co-hosts our morning show with us every single morning, and he loves bringing up that he keeps getting nominated for those FSWA Article of the Year awards, but there's that pesky JJ Zacharyson who keeps on freaking winning them, preventing him from getting any awards.
I run up against Jeff Radcliffe all the time, and then I told him about it too. When I saw him at a draft, I was like, yo, can you go on sabbatical for a year?
Just give me one, just one.
Jeff and JJ, come on. Do us a favor, guys. Come on, leave it open for someone else for a change. Guys, today we are playing some poll perception. Before we get into that, though, we got some people in the chat ready for today's show. John Luke with the howdy neighbors. What's up, JL? Welcome in. And Mr. Scampers with the Heidi Ho. Heidi Ho. Chat cat, glad to have you in here. My man Dave, what's up, Dave? Glad to have you in the chat today. And we got Dame in the chat saying, yo, Dame. Glad to have you in here. Mr. Scamper's letting us know. Got a Nordic salmon ad, of course, today. Yeah, Jay's been eating a lot of Nordic salmon recently. It's become his new passion, specifically. Yeah, it's the
raw. Not even cooked, just raw.
Just raw salmon. No, he makes sushi bakes, which are completely unnecessary and shouldn't exist. If you make sushi bakes for dinner, reevaluate. JL in here is just saying, I love the FYF chat. We love you guys too. And we got our friend Albert in here. What's up, Albert? Glad to have you. And JL coming in with the baseball's great.
Right.
Loves him some baseball. But the smoke show, agreeing with me and John here, baseball. Ew. I'll watch the games with steaks and I'll watch the last inning. I'm not sitting.
You eat steak while you're watching baseball? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's because I really like to torture myself. Disgusting food, disgusting sport, and it
you
just
watch your mouth talking about steak.
Yeah, really. I don't know if steak.
I don't agree with that take.
Thank you.
I was fully aware I was going to be alone on that one. I knew as soon as it came out of my mouth, I was going to be the enemy on that take right there.
You are.
Absolutely. Dane, Are you a Jets fan as well? Do we have 2 Jets fans on the show today?
I actually am a Jets fan. My grandparents had season tickets in Shea Stadium watching Joe Namath. The first time I ever had a sip of alcohol was in the upper deck of the old Giants Stadium. I was at the fake Spike game. I was at the Monday Night Miracle game. So I am a long tortured Jets fan. It's a question of expectations for this year's Jets.
Hey, we got 2 Jets fans on today, Jon and Dane here. And after a huge victory taking down the Packers, and Jon was actually there. Jon got to experience that game. Jon,
nice.
Tell everyone how that was. What did that feel like being there in Lambeau, watching your Jets just dominate the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers?
Honestly, just shout out to all the folks in Wisconsin. They were super hospitable. All the Packers fans were really nice for the most part. But to have like that atmosphere, and I'll tell you guys right now, I don't know if you saw it on TV, but that place was packed out with Jets fans.
Oh, yeah,
like
I see that.
Packed out with Jet fans. And even in the fourth quarter, like you could hear all the JETS chants going, and it was a good time and something that, I'm always going to remember that experience. Lambeau's definitely one of those things. It's a bucket list type deal where everyone says every game played there feels like a playoff game, and you don't really experience it or understand it till you're there. So I'm really glad I experienced that.
Did you rock the cheese hat like Sauce?
No, I did not rock the cheese hat. I said I was not going to spend any money on Packers memorabilia, but if they gave me anything, I would take it. And they gave me some sunglasses that say Packers on the side, so I took those as a souvenir. But no cheese head. But now after seeing Sauce wear the cheese head, I kind of felt like, dang, maybe I should have bought a cheese head.
With some Jets gear, you throw a cheese head on and get into a crowd, you can kind of blend in after the game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It was actually really
if there's angry Packers fans, just throw the green on, get that cheese head, and try to sneak out of the stadium.
You go to high five people, then you realize you've got some yellow there. Sorry.
We don't high five anyone wearing yellow here. JL in the chat saying JJ Zacharias and that little menace, him and Jeff Radcliffe, just menaces over here. And then JL also saying Simon will watch a 4.5-hour YouTube documentary about a random coffee shop in Azerbaijan, but gets bored about baseball. That is true. My YouTube history is all just random coffee shops in Azerbaijan. And Dave letting us know he wants some money on the Jets. Nice, man. We were liking them with the points, 7.5-point dogs. I was liking that, but I did not have the cojones to call them straight up money line. And I know some people who took that bet, and they made some pretty good cash this weekend on that game.
Can I tell you what I did?
You, Dave. Yeah, do it, Dave. Do it, Jon. What'd you do?
I took them at -3.5, the alternate spread.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Up the ante. You said 7.5 is too much. You said, let me click on. Every time I click on that, I'm like, no way. I'm not messing with that. Like that's too bold for me. I like it, Jon. That's awesome. And Mr. Scamper said, I can't wait to see a Panthers or Jaguars game there in Lambeau. Yeah, I'm not sure that'll feel like a playoff game.
John, did you have any trouble getting back on the airplane smuggling those grapefruits through TSA or?
Really?
Also, Dave said he made the same bet. Alternate spread, Jets -3.5. That's wild. Absolutely incredible, guys.
With news on Russell Wilson also, they talk about MRIs for him. That's what we got.
Oh, I ran and took that one too.
If you look at the Jets' non-divisional schedule that's left remaining, it's Denver, like Detroit, Seattle, the Bears, Jacksonville. I'm just saying.
That Detroit Jets game, I'm expecting the score to be 60-48. Like I'm expecting 100 points to be scored in that game. The Jets defense might have something to say about that, but we know both these offenses can get it going, and that Lions defense isn't stopping a single person this season. I just don't see it happening. Guys, Jon and Dane, we brought you guys here today to play some poll perception. Before we get into that, a couple reminders. Number one, if you're not following our guests on Twitter, go and fix that right now. You can follow Dane on Twitter at Spittin' Speeds, and that is Speeds with a Z. Spittin' spelled without that G like it is right there below his face. And then you can find Jon on Twitter at JR Football Nerd. JR Football Nerd. Make sure you go and follow these guys. 2 great follows in this space. You don't want to miss out on that. After you do that, if you're watching this video, you're probably already on our YouTube channel. Go and hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed. It's the easiest way to show your support for what we're doing over here. And if we get enough, we can save up to buy Jay a new shirt so he never has to wear that Yankees baseball jersey again. Guys, please just help contribute. Jay's really struggling. That's the only shirt he has anymore. Like I said, we are going to play some poll perception. This game is the game that tests your knowledge of the public's perception of fantasy football or NFL players. How it's going to work is I'm going to propose a poll to one of our contestants. That contestant will then have to tell me what percentage of people chose side A in that poll, the first option. You're always going to be guessing for that side A. Now, the other two contestants are going to be responsible for guessing whether the actual answer, the actual percentage, is over or under the line that the first contestant said. So the closer that person is to the actual number, the more points they're going to get. 10 if they're exactly right, 1 if they're 15 away, and it scales up within that range. The other two contestants are going to get 2 points if they correctly pick the over-under. We will alternate who's setting the line, go through 2 full rounds like this until the 7th and final round where there's no more over-under nonsense. Everyone's guessing a number. You'll write it down, put it on your phone, get it somewhere, and then we will reveal those numbers. Whoever's the closest is going to get 5 points in that round, unless they hit it exactly on the dot, in which case they'll get 10. And the person with the most points is our poll perception champion on this fine Tuesday. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Dane, I'm going to let you choose if you want to go first, second, or third today.
It's like a coin flip in overtime. I will defer. I will defer and go last.
Go last. Perfect. Beautiful. John, do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Jay, that leaves you first. You are up first, and here is your first poll. This poll comes from a Mr. Heath Cummings. We got a couple polls from Mr. Heath Cummings coming up at the beginning of this show. Believe it or not, the Steelers have 0 must-start fantasy options. Side A, believe it. Side B, not. For full transparency, there was a see results option, but I just took those results out and made those percentages not matter. So the percentages will be a little bit different than what you see on his actual poll. It's because I'm not counting people who are too scared to click on a real
rigged
number.
It, basically, is what you're saying.
No, not at all. Sorry, Jay, we can talk about math after the show. I'll let you know how that works.
I was told there would be no math. Okay. So this is tough because, everybody's all over George Pickens, but he's not a must start. Even though Najee's struggling, man, I mean, do you have 23, 24 other running backs that you're going to start over him? There's a lot of hate going around for the Steelers, though. I think I'm gonna go straight down the middle, but I think it's a little on the believe it side. I'm gonna go with 53% A.
53% A for Jay. John, do you think the actual percentage of people that said I believe it, there are 0 must-start fantasy options for the Steelers is over or under Jay's guess of 53%?
I'm in line with Jay in saying that majority of people went with side A. And depending on when this poll was taken, people might have some recency bias involved.
So all of these polls, just so you know, every poll is going to be from after the games this weekend. I believe there's one poll from it'll be after the most recent game. So there are some polls from Monday before the Monday night game, but none of those players played in Monday Night Football. So it's all with the most recent up-to-date information.
Okay, so Najee Harris is not enough to pull this poll because he did have a decent game. I'm going to go with the over on the 53%.
John taking the over.
Change your mind as the word was coming out of your mouth is what it looked like.
No, I was going over. Okay. I was just hesitant to do it.
Over the whole time. Dane, are you going with over or under on Jay's guess of 53%?
Did you go over the Queen B by the chance?
I did not. There is one additional option. It is statistically improbable. It's never been hit on the show.
Oh, that he nailed it?
You can Queen B it if you think he nailed it, and then you'll also get 10 points.
Right.
It's a glory play. It's just for the glory.
I'm not going with that option. But it's interesting. The idea of fading the public. I believe there are startable Steelers, but I think that the kind of hate and the shade has gone so far on the perception of the Steelers offense that I will agree and go over the 53.
You got double overs, Jay. You reverse split the room, as JL would say. Everybody watching, if this is your first time coming in, play along in the chat. Give us your guesses. If you're very close, we'll shout you out. If you're very wrong, we'll mock you relentlessly, but it's all part of the fun. Mr. Scamper's in here with a guess of 69%. Nice. Dave with 82%.
See,
Albert
over. Everyone's going over.
They're going over.
Not feeling too confident right now.
Albert with 72. Grim fan with 45%.
Okay. Meet Grim.
And Dave saying just Kenny Pickett. Just Kenny Pickett. Yeah, that is a Steelers fan right there. And Dame coming in with 57%, so a little bit closer to your guess. Jay?
I feel a little better with Dame. Dame usually has a good guess, so we'll see.
Based on 2,996 votes on this poll, the percentage of people that believe it is 77%.
Wow.
Jay, you were way off. You are going to get 0 points for that. But Dane and John, you guys are each going to get 2 points for correctly getting that one. Dane, is this shocking to you? Do you agree with this? Do you think there are no must-start options on the Steelers?
No, that's what I was saying. I do think there are startable Steelers. I think Najee is still startable. Maybe he's not the first round draft pick that people thought he was anymore.
Yep.
But to say that he's not like an RB2, I think is a little ridiculous. I think that Deontay is startable depending on who is at quarterback. If it's Pickett, I like Pickens. If it's Trubisky, I like Claypool. And Freiermuth is also startable when healthy. So I think that there are, in fact, options on the Steelers.
As far as the receiving options go, it seems like we all agree Najee, while maybe not the star we thought, he's still a startable running back. You probably are going to have him in your lineups. How do you feel about these receiving options?
Yeah, I mean, it's sorry, I didn't know who you were asking. Dang.
All good. John, you want to jump in?
No. Well, okay, I guess I already started. So, Deontay Johnson, I mean, based on the matchups, I feel like you have to consider, the game script, what the other defense can do. And, do they have the ability to just make the life a living hell for whoever is starting at quarterback for Pittsburgh? I think you do have to consider that. But in games where, like, maybe they play Detroit, I'm not going to shy away from that matchup. I'll play Deontay Johnson. So I agree. In this running back economy, you can't afford to not start Najee Harris. Definitely Pat Freiermuth is one of the better tight ends when healthy. So those are two, maybe one must-start option, 1.5. But the receivers, I think you got to, really take it week by week.
Absolutely. Shout out to Dave for being the closest on this one, only 5 percentage points. So I guess Albert as well, 5 percentage points the other way. Nice job to both of you guys on that one.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Also? Because, depending on your format and all that stuff, I mean, the Steelers defense has also led the league in sacks the last 2 or 3 years in a row. But do defenses count in that question? You know what I mean? As a startable, viable option.
I bet there are people that clicked on not who were thinking Steelers, but I know when I see that, I don't think defenses, but
okay.
You're 100% right? Like in that question, all it says is, are there any must-start options on the Steelers? That would include the Steelers DST. That's a great point. You plugging them in, you rolling with the Steelers on a weekly basis, or is it matchup dependent?
When TJ Watt was there, he's literally one that I might have drafted in the 17th or 18th round, something like that. I think it's a little bit different. There are more matchups now, but they would be under consideration for that question to say yes or no. That's all I mean.
Absolutely. We have a question in here from Elias I wanted to get to before our next round. John and Dane, you guys have a 2-point lead over Jay right now, tied in first after correctly picking the over on that one. And everybody watching, if you've got fantasy questions for us, throw them in the chat. We will gladly answer those in between rounds of poll perception today. Elias says, I'm so screwed in fantasy this week. Kupp and Josh Allen on bye, and at wide receiver, I'm stuck with Kirk, Samuel, Rondale Moore, and Dobbs. Pick 2 to start. Elias coming in with the fire questions. A lot of those guys are very close. I'm guessing that's Curtis Samuel, not Deebo Samuel, based on the order of the names right there. Jay, which 2 of these wide receivers would you be starting if you were Elias?
I'm going to definitely go with Curtis Samuel, especially with Taylor Heineke. I could see him checking down and targeting the slot a lot more than Carson Wentz would have. I'm probably going to go, man, this is tough. I think Christian Kirk. I know it's, Rondale Moore had a pretty decent game. Hollywood Brown is going to miss some games, but I'm going to go with Christian Kirk. Dubs had a nice start to the season, but he's really kind of tailed off here recently.
Dane, what about you? Which 2 of these players would you be plugging in your lineup?
Yeah, I agree with Samuel. I actually think the switch to Heineke helps Samuel, hurts McLaurin because they won't go down the field as much. And I'm actually going to go Rondale Moore. For me on the Arizona wide receiver core, I think what's really important to note this week is that Arizona plays on Thursday. And so you know about Hollywood Brown being banged up. They just acquired Robbie Anderson, but I don't think he's going to see the field this Thursday because it's too tight of a turnaround. And the similar thing may be able to be said for D-Hop coming back for suspension. So in the short term, I think Rondell Moore may actually get more targets than usual. So for me, it's going to be Rondell Moore and Curtis Samuel.
It's going to be Christian Kirk and Rondell Moore for me. I'm going to combine your two answers, and maybe it's just like I've been so down on Rondell Moore, but the past 2 weeks he's shown us life, right? He's getting pretty heavily targeted in this offense, commanding a decent amount of that target share. Now they lose Hollywood, play on Thursday night. This is a week to start Rondell Moore if you still have him on your lineups. This is the week. This is why you drafted him. John, what about you? Which two of these guys are you going with?
I'm gonna make Elias's life miserable.
We say Kirk and Dubs.
Basically, right.
It's Rondell Moore for me. I agree with Simon and Dane. Rondell Moore is definitely got to be on that list, and I think you got to roll the rookie Romeo Doubs out. I mean, I'm willing to throw out this last week's game. This Jets secondary is pretty good, and he's got a matchup coming up against Washington, and we saw that Justin Fields was able to get some plays down the field against that Washington defense. You got to imagine that, Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to replicate some of that. And Randall Cobb, he suffered an injury. So there's targets available here for Dobbs to potentially make a play.
Yeah, absolutely. Elias, I hope we were helpful there. Pick who you think is the most handsome and then go with their answer. Mr. Scamper saying, I love a split room, though. We do love a split room. Dustin, welcome in. Glad to have you in here. Glad you made it in. And Grant wants to know, are you starting the Bears or the Patriots defense this weekend, guys? So Dane, would you be plugging in the Bears or the Patriots defense?
We can't answer this question. They just said go Guardians in 30 minutes.
Go Guardians, right?
We can't answer that.
I gotta know who's starting for New England. Like, there's the potential that Mac Jones comes back, but then again, if you're Zappy and clap your hands, has looked decent in his first couple of outings.
I'm obsessed.
For me, I would actually go with the New England defense. It's kind of, they face each other. It's a question of who you think is going to win the game. And that Chicago offensive line has been blunt guts trash. Fields is running for his life. So I think Patriots will get some sacks. I'll go with the New England defense.
Doesn't it feel like offensive line play in general is down this year? I just feel like more often than not, I'm talking about bad offensive lines on teams. Even some of the teams that have had good ones over the last 5 years. Like we think of the Colts, we think of them having a great offensive line. It hasn't been the same unit. I just feel like we're seeing team after team. Is there like an offensive lineman shortage going on or something? Are they going to other sports or picking up bowling or something, causing these guys not to make it out on the football field?
Not many 6'6", 330-pound people that can move walking around the face of the earth.
That's a great point. That's a very unique body type. They got to get out there on the offensive line. Yeah, you're not just going to walk out and find an offensive lineman randomly walking around. You're shocked every time you see one because they're so big. Let's move on to the next poll. John, this one is coming to you. Are you ready for your first poll of the day?
Yeah, let's make it happen.
It's another believe it or not. You guys might notice a theme with each of your first polls. Believe it or not, you should bench Aaron Jones until further notice. What percentage of people said believe it in this poll?
Sounds like a Heath Cummings poll. Did you say that? And I just
these are the first three are all going to be Heath Cummings believe it or not polls. So if you want to cheat, you can cheat, but that's for losers.
Not an Astros. I'm not a Houston.
You beat me to it, John. You beat me to
it. Let's see. Man, this is tough because Aaron Jones definitely should not be not benching Aaron Jones. I'm sorry. I know it hasn't been great, but not going to bench him. People are probably salty, though. I'm going to go with...
Especially on Twitter.
37% say A.
37%. Final answer?
Final answer.
John going with 37%. Dane, you've got the first guess here. Do you think the actual percentage of people that chose believe it, Aaron Jones should be benched until further notice, is over or under John's line of 37%?
So similar to the idea that I think the public is throwing shade towards the Steelers offense. I think the public is throwing shade towards Aaron Jones and that backfield as well, but not that much. I'm going to go under the 30. In my mind, it was something in the 20s, so I'll go under John's number.
Under from Dane. Jay, what about you?
I contemplated the over, but I think Dane hit the nail on the head. I'm going to go with the under.
You got double unders, reverse split the room, and we had some guesses in the chat. First, Dame said, don't knock bowling. Isn't that the whole point? To knock down bowling pins? Tyson in here with a guess of 39%. Mr. Scampers with 22%. Dave also going with 22%. Grimfan going with 80%. Dustin with 30%. Dame with 28%. Albert's got a guess of 31%. Well, the actual percentage of people that said, I believe it, you should bench Aaron Jones until further notice was 35%. It's good news for everybody here.
All right.
Jon, you were within 5, which means you are going to get 5 points for this poll. Jay and Dane, you guys are each going to get 2 points for correctly picking the over-under.
Right.
Bringing the score, Jon, you're going to have a lead of 7-4-2 after the first 2 polls. And it sounds like nobody here believes this. Like, you don't believe this is going on. Jon, do you think there's still gas in the tank? We're going to see Aaron Jones bounce back over the second half of this season?
The Packers have no choice. He's easily their best offensive player. He's a threat as a runner and as a receiver, so they have to get him involved. I mean, unless they can make some kind of acquisition, they can convince Odell Beckham to want to play for them, or Will Fuller to come out from wherever he's hiding from. But like, Aaron Jones has to be the guy.
But they just tried out some wide receiver named Frugalfy, I think, Frugalfy or something like that. I don't know what their last name was. Yeah, that's
isn't it? I think it's Fryfogle, isn't it? I think you mixed up the syllables.
I like Frugalfy.
Yeah, that's better. Dane, what about you? Do you believe in Aaron Jones bouncing back over the second half of the season, or do you think it's going to be more of what we've seen so far?
No, I believe in Aaron Jones bouncing back. I mean, going into this season, the Green Bay Packers wanted to build themselves as a run-first team, right, with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And I think that they just haven't been in game scripts that kind of allow them to do that. And you got to believe that they're going to win some games, be able to tote the rock. I would believe in Aaron Jones. It's kind of similar to what we were talking about with Najee Harris, right? Like, if you drafted him early, and then you can't just completely cast him aside. Generally, I like to give these studs a little bit of a longer leash, especially early in the season.
I'm 100% with you, because it feels bad if you make that decision too early and then Aaron Jones does Aaron Jones things on your bench, you feel like a buffoon. Like it just feels
like, where
bad.
are you going? Like, who exactly are you putting in over Aaron Jones, right? Like, exactly, something like that. Am I going to pick up Lat Murray and start him over Aaron Jones? No.
The Broncos did. I mean, the Broncos literally are the Broncos going to pick up Lat Murray and start him over Melvin Gordon?
Fair enough.
But they did. Shout out Tyson in the chat with 39%. The closest guess in the chat. Nice job, my man. Pretty good guess right there. Not as good as Jon's, though. Jon, you beat everyone in the chat with that poll. You had the best guess out of everybody. Doesn't get you bonus points, but a nice little moral victory there. You do have the lead 7-4-2. And Dane, that means it is time for your first poll. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Here is your poll. You probably know what's coming. Believe it or not, Breece Hall is a top 10 running back rest of season. What percentage of people said believe it?
See, and you got to ask the Jets fans, right? We're Jets fans. We're all excited about it. I also fundamentally believe that rookie running backs grow in touches and opportunity in production as the season goes along. They've been hyping him up. I think this number is like in the high 60s. I'm going to go with I'll go 68%.
68% on the Breece Hall side. Jay, looks like you think that's a good guess. You taking the over, the under, or you queen B in it if you think it's such a good guess?
I'm tempted. And I might not be a Jets fan, but I am a Breece Hall truther. I love that man. My goodness, he's good. I got him everywhere. 68%. I'm very tempted to go with Queen Bee, but I feel it's a little early, and the number that popped in my mind was in the 70s, so I'm actually going to go over.
Jay taking the over here. Jon, what do you think? Over or under Dane's guess of 68%?
68 is a really good guess, because
thank you.
That leaves room for all the people that say, oh, he's going to suck because he plays for the Jets.
You fools. It's a new Jets team now.
All gas, no break, baby.
Woo!
Oh, yeah. Hey, don't make it that kind of show now. Yeah, so
It's a good guess.
I'm gonna go over.
Over.
Do I get extra points just for these guys talking about how great my guess was?
Yeah, you're gonna add some points to the moral scoreboard. I think you're actually pulled ahead of John right there.
There you go.
You get a couple extra moral points. 68% from Dane. Both these guys taking over, and we had some guesses in the chat. Tyson with a guess of 88%. Mr. Scampers was 69, just in line with you. Albert going 75, pretty close to your guess. Dave at 78, and Dustin at 82%. The actual percentage of people that believe it, that Breece Hall is a top 10 back rest of season based on over 2,300 votes, was 85%. 85%. I know you don't get points, but look at that respect for a Jets running back right there, right? So no point. At least you got some of that. Dane, I'll throw it to you since it was your poll. Sounds like you believe in Breece going on the rest of the season. Top 10, would you have voted believe it on this poll?
Yeah, I think he's right there in that RB1 conversation. Like I said, rookies grow throughout. The only thing, and I am a Jets fan, right? Just like I said with the game script, I don't know if you think the Jets are going to be up in all these games like they were against Green Bay. And Michael Carter is still a very good PPR third down receiving kind of back. So I think the snap counts aren't going to be this dramatic as some people may think. But yeah, I love me some Breece Hall. I might call him kind of a fringe RB1, RB2 instead of necessarily top 10, but he's right in that area for sure.
John, you agree with Dane here on Breece Hall's outlook rest of season, or you got a little more faith in Michael Carter?
No, I think Breece is I think he's like a top 7, top 8 running back rest away. I mean, you look at the usage, that thing has been trending up, and now I think we've kind of seen that plateau. And going into last week, Breece Hall had a 14.4% target share, which was one of the top numbers at the position. So I think that leads way to him being potentially game script proof, and he could have had some bigger days, right? They bring in Michael Carter to get these goal line opportunities sometimes. Maybe that's something that stays rest of season. I honestly am having conversations. I brought this up on my show yesterday, Fantasy Football Diagnostics, shameless plug. But where are we taking Breece Hall next year, right? Among running backs, in the first round.
If this season continues, he's a first round pick. I don't know top 5, but if he continues this, if he's dominant,
he might be a top 5 running back. Honestly, I mean, you got Saquon. If Saquon and CMC stay healthy. After that, what if JT still struggles? Derrick Henry's another year older. I think I'm with you, John. I think next year it's top 5 choice.
We'll see. I'm not ready to anoint him a top 5 pick. We got some of these receivers who might have something to say about that as well, right?
No, running back.
Maybe top 5 running back for sure.
Okay. I can get on board with that a little bit more. I was like, Cooper Kupp's gonna push him down at least a pick over there, right? Dude's killing it again. Justin Jefferson. After that poll, John, you got a nice little lead, 9 points. Jay and Dane tied with 4 points apiece. You guys perfectly predicted the over-unders through that first round. Just struggled a little bit on your polls, but we got a whole nother round ready, another poll for each of you before we get into that final round. Jay, you're up first, and I have to remind everyone there is a new rule that we implement in round 2.
Ooh.
So now there are 2 more options instead of just over and under. There is now a way over option and a way under option.
Okay.
If you believe your opponent made a terrible guess, it is 15 percentage points or more off, you can choose way over or way under. Now, this is a double or nothing mechanic. So if you choose way over and they're only 14 percentage points over, you're going to get 0 points. But if they are, in fact, as far off as you think they are, you're going to get 4 points instead of that normal 2. It's a little bit of room to come back, but it relies on your opponents making some crappy guesses. But
which I'm very well known for in this game. So
there you go. Jay, here's your next poll. You ready for it?
Let's do it.
We are moving away from the Heath Cummings, believe it or not. This next poll is a dynasty poll for you. Dynasty. It is a dynasty 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium league. Okay. All of the qualifiers that I could put on here, I did. Side A is Kyle Pitts. Side B is Saquon Barkley. What percentage of people chose Kyle Pitts in this poll?
I hate you, Simon.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I wish one of you guys would have chose going first because this sucks. And you said this was after this game this week, correct? So he did actually score a touchdown on American soil, which is nice. man, as good as Saquon looks, Kyle Pitts is what, like 23, 24 years old or something like that. A tight end premium. People are talking about buying low, but
isn't Kyle
there's
Pitts
not a
21 or 22?
Is he that young?
Yeah, he's pretty young. And it's also like, how much of a premium is there on tight end? Is it an extra 0.5 for a catch? Is there an extra point for a catch for tight ends? The level of premium for the tight end, I think, does matter on this one, at least for me.
It would. This is all the context they gave in the poll, though. So everyone voting on this. This is what they're giving. But I agree with you. It changes the outcome of this for sure on where you're voting. You get that extra 0.75 instead of just 0.5. It makes a difference. Jay, where are you going here? What percentage of people chose the young tight end over Saquon Barkley?
The only thing that worries me is the people who don't pay attention to the context of the poll and just see, Saquon Barkley. But I still think in a tight end premium dynasty, people are going to go on the Kyle Pitts side. I'm going to go with a 59% Kyle Pitts.
59% Kyle Pitts for Jay. John, do you think the actual answer is over or under Jay's guess of 59%? Or way over or way under?
I feel like people hate Kyle Pitts.
That's my concern. Like, watch it be like 20-something% because people are overreactive.
But Saquon is pretty up there. He's got the injury history. People probably think that you probably want the Kyle Pitts side because you want to sell Saquon, because maybe you're not just getting Kyle Pitts. Maybe you're getting something else along with that. So I'm going to go – what was your guess again?
59.
59? I'm going to go under.
Under from John. It sounded like a tortured under coming out right there.
It was a tortured under.
Dane, are you agreeing with John here, taking the under, or are you going over on Jay's guess of 59?
So Jay's got 59% on the Kyle Pitts side. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the Kyle Pitts side.
Yeah, I'm going to go way under. I'm going to go way under because I think this is recency bias on Twitter. I think people are in love with Saquon and his scrimmage yards, and the kind of narrative has been like free Kyle Pitts in that offense. And for 59, I was thinking it was going to be less than 50. So anything less than 50, I got like 5 percentage points to hit with the way under. So I'm going way under.
Way under for Dane. I like it. We had some guesses in the chat as well. Dame with 24%, Scampers with 33.
These are all way under guesses.
Dave with 21.
Not feeling great.
Dustin with 68%.
Okay.
Though. Albert coming in with 45.
Better.
Tyson with 62. And Grim fan saying Pitts is garbage. Oh, I love that. Grim, that's awesome. I don't think he's garbage, but I love coming in with the takes, the hot takes like that. But the actual percentage of people that chose Kyle Pitts in this poll was 50%, right down the middle. This was a 50-50 poll right here. Dane, your logic was spot on.
I shoved when I didn't need to shove.
9 percentage points. I liked your logic. And based on what everyone in the chat was saying, it looks like maybe you run this poll a couple times, you get some results that are 15 percentage points under. Jay, you're going to get 3 points for being within 10 just by the skin of your teeth right there, bringing you up to 7. John, you'll get 2 for correctly picking the over-under, but there's a lot of game left. Dane, you're in my favorite position. It's all about the fourth quarter comeback. That is the best position to be in. John, before we get to your poll, we had some questions in the chat that I wanted to get to. First, I wanted to ask both the Jets fan. This is coming from Grim fan, who I think is a Jets fan himself. Said, Breece it or not, do you think the Jets make the playoffs this year? John,
well played with the wordplay, by the way, Grim. Nice job.
John, are the Jets a playoff team this year?
They're playing like they will be in the wild card hunt right now. I would like to see them play against teams that we all believe will be in the playoffs, and I don't think that they've really done that yet.
Suck it, Packers.
I mean, if you poll everybody today, will the Packers make the playoffs? People are like,
No.
I don't know. So I want to see them play like Buffalo, and how does that matchup go? What does the New England games look like? Can you split with them? Can you get the Miami game on the road? I think those are questions that I need answered. But I think that, and this is all, I think if you poll Jet fans, this is all that they've wanted, like coming into this year, was that when we're sitting there in December and we're watching a game and they put up that graphic of the top 7 playoff teams that not 8, 9, 10, the Jets where it says in the hunt, that you see them right there and that the season's not over by October. So playoffs, I think that we are at a point where we can start talking about it and thinking about it. But until we start seeing them win some of these games against, these elite quarterbacks, I don't think we can put them there yet.
What about you, Dane? Are your Jets making the playoffs? How do you feel about these guys?
I'm pretty much in line with what Jon just said. I think they will be playing meaningful games, after Thanksgiving, which is kind of like step one, right? Like people ask me what I thought about the Jets going into the season. And I was just like, listen, I just want to feel like we're moving in the right direction. I just want to, and the record didn't matter. But then, like I said, the non-division opponents they have left, there's 5 of them and they are gettable, to win 3 of those 5. Then can they split with New England? I think so. Can they get another one from Miami? I think they're going to finish maybe with 8 or 9 wins. Now, will that be good enough to get in? I'm not sure, but I'm with Jon. I think they'll be on the in the hunt column come December.
Man, and from a lifelong Browns fan, that feels good. Know what I mean? Like when you're not used to seeing that and they're playing a game at the end of the year and it matters, it feels good. Even if you don't think it should, it's nice to see your team playing some competitive football out there. Let's move on to our next poll. Jon, this one's coming to you. Are you ready for your next poll?
Yeah, let's get after it, man.
This one asks, who will finish the season with more fantasy points? Who will finish the season with more fantasy points? Is it side A, Jalen Hurts, or side B, Patrick Mahomes? What percentage of people said Jalen Hurts in this poll?
Simon, you brought the heat with these polls today.
I found some good ones today. We had some good polls today.
This is tough. As soon as you said Jalen Hurts, I was like, people are probably not going to pick Jalen Hurts because I feel like he still gets hated on.
How are people still doing that, right?
People are dumb. That's how.
I'm going to go with side A, Patrick or Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to guess that it is. Let's go with 52%.
52% from Jon. Jon going with 52% on the Jalen Hurts side. Dane, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Jalen Hurts is over or under 52%? Or way over, way under?
I want to go back to the way something well just to try to make it up. But I think that was a good guess at it, Jon. I actually think people are believing not only in Jalen Hurts, but that the rushing potential is consistent and hang your hat uponable. So I'm going to go over, but not way over, just over.
Over, but not way over. Jay, what about you? You taking the over, the under, the way over, the way under? Or are you queen bee in this one?
I contemplated queen being, but I think I'm thinking along the same lines as Dane. I think that people are hyped up on Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes hasn't struggled, but he hasn't been the Patrick Mahomes of the past couple of years with no Tyreek. I will say I love that. I have, thanks to Simon's love of Travis Kelce, I have some more Travis Kelce this year. That Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes stack was very nice last week. But I'm going to go with the over. I think it's the high 50s. I think it's just slightly over.
Double overs. And Jay, my Travis Kelce love comes exclusively from just being so sick of that tight end position for a couple years. Yeah. I just got so fed up with having to start CJ Uzomah by week 7 that I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just drafting Travis Kelce every time he's there in the first round. I'm not playing this game. But we got 52%, double overs right there. Some guesses in the chat. Albert with 54%. Let's see, Tyson coming in with 36, Dave with 27, Grimfan with 65%, Dame with 55. Scampers is queen bee in this one, thinks it's a queen bee. Dustin with 69%. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Jalen Hurts in this poll was 67%. Jon, you snuck in there, 15 percentage points away exactly. You're going to get 1 point. The way over would have hit on this.
Oh, that was way over?
It was 15 exactly. It's 15 inclusive. The way over would have hit on this one.
See, you got to shove. That's the moral of the story. Yep. When in doubt, shove.
Shove. You guys each still get 2
Shot.
points for this one, making it a close game. It is still very much so anyone's game. Jay with 9, Jon with 11, Dane with 6. And we've got one more poll before we get to our final round. And we got a question in here I wanted to hit before that. B-Dubs asked, pick 2 rest of season. Judy, Pierce, and Ayuk. Jon, if you got to pick 2 of these 3 guys rest of the season, which 2 are you taking?
Ayuk is so inconsistent, and I love him, man.
I love that sentence.
He's so it's not his fault, right? It's just the nature of the offense. It's so like Debo centric. Alec Pierce, I think, has a role rest of season for sure. It's tough to want to be able to tie yourself to whatever version of Russell Wilson that is right now.
You're much better off tying yourself to whatever version of Matt Ryan we're seeing, right?
or Jimmy Garoppolo.
Honestly, it is. It is a lot better right now for Matt Ryan than for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Pierce and Ayuk. I think that the Niners are going to, their defense is banged up. They're going to have to play some more competitive football games. And, we've seen when they have to throw the football, and this goes back to even the playoffs, Ayuk operates as the number 1 receiver. Like when they're forced to throw the football, he's seeing like 11 targets, seeing the ball down the field. I'll go Pierce and Ayuk.
We talked about on the morning show. Coop brought it up. Ayuk's on the field more than Deebo Samuel is. I mean, that's because Deebo gets those rush attempts. He comes off, but Ayuk's on the play pretty much, or on the field pretty much every single snap. Like he doesn't come off the field for them. I'm with you. It's Ayuk. It's tough between the other 2. I do think I lean Judy just from, God, I believe in him. And they got to figure it out, right? Like they got to figure it out, and then you want Judy, but it's tough. What about you, Dane? Are you going Ayuk and Pierce like Jon there? You got a different combo.
So I think Ayuk is the given because like we're talking about, we have more faith in Jimmy G Spot and the Niners offense than the rest of these guys. But I want no part of Denver right now. I think we're going to learn that Russ is hurt. I think we're going to see Rippin for some games. And then do you really want to run out Jerry Jeudy? So I'm going Ayuk, and then it's close, but I'll go Alec Pierce as the second one there.
Man, you think they're missing Drew Lock yet? You think these Denver fans are like, God, I wish Drew Lock was here.
Geno Smith is thoroughly outplaying all of them right now.
It's insane. Absolutely
That's
absurd.
the one. I think they wish they traded for the other quarterback.
Yeah. That trade.
Would have been cheaper.
Absolutely.
Dime that he hit Tyler Lockett with 2 weeks ago. That was just, oh my goodness. It was beautiful.
I am loving watching Geno just go out there and kill it. And it's making me think just the fact that he wasn't starting last year, like there were probably 20 teams that made a mistake if Geno Smith wasn't starting. But it's good to see him out there killing it. We got one more.
Like I was right all those years ago when I said Geno Smith was actually a good quarterback.
Finally, some vindication for that take all those years ago. Now, I just got to wait for Kerryon Johnson to break out, and then I get my vindication. As soon as he breaks out, that's what I'm waiting for. Dane, you ready for your last poll?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Who would you rather have for the rest of the season in fantasy? Side A, Dak Prescott. Side B, Tua Tagovailoa. What percentage of people chose Dak Prescott in this poll?
Oh, wow. See, any question that involves Tua gets very dicey and icky on so many levels. So I'm going to assume that people expect him to be like, having a legitimate medulla oblongata and actually being on the field. And so that being said, I think the appeal of Tyreek and Jalen Waddle is too much. So the question is, what percentage went with the Dak side?
Correct.
So I think that number, again, under the assumptions of the independent neurologist, is something in the 35 to 40 range. Give me 42%.
42% on the Dak Prescott side from Dane. Jay, do you think the actual percentage of people that chose Dak in this poll is over or under Dane's guess of 42%?
I was hoping you were going to go with the 30s because I was right there with you in the 40s. That's tough. You know what? Nobody's done it yet. I'm Queen Bee in it. Queen Bee.
Ooh.
Queen Bee from
Vamos.
Jay right there. Jon, what do you think? Over, under, way over, way under, or Queen Bee on Dane's guess of 42% on the Dak side?
This is tough because do I play to win the game or do I play?
Strategy.
or do I play what I actually think? I'm gonna go with the way under. I feel like
way under.
People look at this offense and they're like, Cooper Rush didn't have to do much. Dak Prescott's probably going to come in and not have that's what the Cowboys are going to do. And like Dane said, people want to go on the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle side. Yeah, I go with the way under.
The way under from John. We got some guesses in the chat as well. First of all, Seth showing up, IBT Media. What's up, Seth? Welcome in. St. Simon said it a few weeks ago on our show, Denver's offense is spooky. Yeah, I get spooked every time I try to put a Denver player into my starting lineup. Grim fan going with 0.5% on this poll. Dame with 35%. Albert coming in with 55. Scampers going 85. Marty with 35. We got guesses all over the place on this one, which I kind of expected. This is a weird poll, right? 2 injured players, very different injuries. And we got JL in the chat saying, Dane, you are a delight. Loved hanging in New York City, bro.
Absolutely.
I'm jealous. You guys got to hang out in New York City. And I was probably just sitting in San Antonio sweating my balls off or something. I think it was in the heat of the summer. You guys are up there just hanging out in a cool city. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Dak Prescott in this poll was 62%. 62% on the Dak side. Dane, maybe people are concerned about his Medusa angry pasta or whatever it is that you said.
Medusa angry pasta.
Sounds like that's what's going on Halloween.
I'm personally, I want Tua rest of the season. Like, yeah, I understand the concern. If he's going to play what we saw from him.
You got to say the if, right? You have to put the if in that sentence. Like, there's a universe where, like, homeboy is one hit away from us never seeing him again. So,
absolutely.
I think Scampers hit it up. He said Dallas fans are delusional. That's the truth. So,
coming from a Giants fan, not that you're delusional, but you got some biased takes on your opinions on Dallas fans over there.
I just hate Dallas. So.
Not their fans.
But why? Cowboys fans aren't even from Dallas.
That's true. That is very true.
Hey, my first NFL, when I was in the 3rd grade, I had a Cowboys jacket just that I bought at a flea market. And suddenly I was a Cowboys fan for a couple years before my Cleveland family converted me. Guys, after that round, let's see, where did the points go on that one? I don't think anybody got points on that round. So the scores are staying exactly the same, but it is truly still anybody's game. Dane, you get this last one. You're the closest. You're going to tie it up with John for the lead. John or Jay, you get it right. You guys will be the right away winner. And if any of you nail it exactly on the dot, you will be the straight up winner in today's game show. Does everyone have something to write with, a pen and paper or a cell phone where you could put it on? Cool. I'm going to reveal this last poll, give you guys about 20 seconds to get your answers down, and then we will reveal the winner of today's show. Here's your final poll. Which running back do you prefer in Dynasty? Side A, Dameon Pierce. Side B, Kenneth Walker. What percentage of people chose Dameon Pierce in this poll? So give you guys a little bit of time there to get your guesses in. We got a Jail in the chat saying your balls get so sweaty. Yeah, I mean, it's hot here, man. It's so hot in San Antonio. And Jail saying LMAO, he's just going to disappear. Just going to pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi, disappear on his own cloak. Who did that? What is he talking about? Does anyone have any idea what Jail's talking about with this?
Zero clue.
Not a clue. Jail, let us know. Let us know what you're talking about.
JL, are you okay? Are you in distress?
I think he's in the wrong chat.
Say you love bacon if you're in trouble.
I think he meant to send that in his
link.
in his Obi-Wan fan fiction Discord server. He accidentally sent that one over here instead. Jay, you got your answer written down?
I do.
Dane, you got your answer?
Yes, I do.
And John, you got yours?
I sure do.
Let's go. Dane, you are currently in 3rd, so I'm going to ask you to reveal your answer first. What do you got?
This is the Dameon Pierce side, correct?
Dameon Pierce side, absolutely. 41% on the Dameon Pierce side from Dane. Jay, what do you got? 24% from Jay. So a little bit of room between you and Dane here. And John, 42%.
If this was the Price is Right, if this was the Price is Right, I'd be done.
Luckily, you got some room on the bottom there, but John boxed you in. He took
really
all
did.
the overs.
Oh, man.
We got
It's
some
like when you
guesses.
do the Monday Night Football total points in a pick'em pool or something like that, and someone gets like one right above you or one below you, you're screwed.
David here with 33%, Dustin guessing 18, Albert with 21, Tyson with 34, Dame with 53%, and then say, no, wait, 42. Don't worry, you got it in time. Mr. Scampers with 55%, and JL said, I'm blinking. I missed you, John. Yeah, guys, checking out. JL is definitely blinking. That message was code. We're going to have to decode it after the show. Well, the actual percentage of people that chose Dameon Pierce in this poll was 22%. Jay, you are our champion at the buzzer. 22% on the Dameon Pierce side. People are buying into the Kenneth Walker hype early because, boy, is that dude looked good.
If it wasn't for this week, I would have been a lot higher than that. But Twitter is overreactive, and Walker looked good.
Should have known Dameon Pierce was on bye.
Yeah, everyone forgets about players when they're on bye. They just go on bye, and then all of a sudden they don't exist for a week.
Still the 9th choice for Rookie of the Year at 15-1 at some books.
Ooh, that's worth
like that.
Go
throw some cash on that. That's pretty safe right there. His job's pretty safe there. Not many rookie running backs have that kind of workload that he's going to be seeing the rest of the season. John and Dane, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show today. This was an absolute blast. Really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I know, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I always have fun here. And now I just have another loss to add to my bucket for motivation.
Keep collecting them, John. Well, it's all about the redemption arc. I mean, I know we're on a long downhill, but that redemption is going to feel good. It's going to be like the Jets beating the Packers. It's going to feel that good whenever you come in here. Guys, if you're not already following our guests, go and follow Dane on Twitter at Spittin' Speeds. That is Speeds with a Z. And make sure you're following John as well at JR Football Nerd. If this show wasn't enough to convince you, maybe we can right here. These are two unbelievably kind dudes. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come on again today. Everyone in the chat, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your guesses. Thank you for putting up with us. We will be back on the air tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time for the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show over on Better Sports Network.
One thing to add before we go, JL and I will be in our Discord starting at 4:15 in our live chat. Just talking fantasy, talking life, talking Grimace, whatever you want to do. So make sure you hop in there and join us.
Go hang out with those guys. Until next time, though, we're out of here. Thanks, John. Thanks, Dane. Thanks, everyone, again. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.